My people now won't settle this matter like this now. NBC will be National Broadcasting Commission. They don't come give Arise TV last warning. Say make them know they talk about Emilio Komata again. Say their guests, so then they bring come, they insult the president. My people no be smart, you know. When they finish, Sarah come outside. Say they won't sue NBC for issuing last warning to Arise. My people no be small. Oh. Kenneth Okonkwo come say NBC calling name. So therefore, my people come they warn NBC again. Matter Arise crew don't consider on top of the matter. My live na mona just watch. Use na year. When una finish una know what una go help me to make una just make other people for see am. Leave your comments.
The project over the weekend faulted the warning issued to the Arise News channel by the National Broadcasting Corporation over an alleged violation of the Nigeria Broadcasting Code. The Director General of NBC, Balarabe Ileila, issued the final warning to Arise, stating that the Commission had observed with concern the preponderance of incendiary remarks by guests featured on Arise News. One of the guests referred to in the letter is a spokesperson of the Labour Party, Kenneth Okonkwo, who appeared on Newsday on October 6th. NBC stated in the letter that Okonkwo used derogatory remarks on air. Well, in response, Okonkwo, in a lengthy post on Instagram, described the letter as an outright infringement of his fundamental human rights as guaranteed by the 1999 Constitution, and that the import of the letter was to intimidate him and Arise News. Well, Serap has urged the NBC to withdraw the said final warning to Arise, otherwise the Commission will be charged to court. Well, in the meantime, the presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party, Atiku Abubakar, has alleged that the Tinubu administration has already perfected an elaborate and sinister plot to gag the media ahead of the release of the records containing the president's alleged criminal investigations by the Federal Bureau of Investigation. In a statement by his special assistant on public communication, Frank Shwaibu, Atiku stated that the Tinubu administration had become frustrated with the Chicago State University scandal and that it was planning a massive offensive in the coming days. Atiku explained that the threat by the National Broadcasting Commission to sanction Arise News was only a tip of the iceberg, and added that the NBC had been watching as Tinubu's media platforms like TVC have been constantly attacking him and have refused to even air opposition views. Atiku also stated that back in February, the NBC tried to show a bit of fairness and fined TVC for unprofessional broadcasts, including the airing of the Joint Media Directorate of the APC Presidential Campaign Council press briefing, where Festus Keyamo said Obasanjo and Atiku ran a criminal enterprise and an empire of fraud in Abuja. But that since Tinubu became president on May 29th, the NBC has become more partisan than ever. Over to you, Rufai. I mean, what is good for the goose is good for the gander.
What's sauce for the goose is sauce for the gander.
Yeah.
Real quickly. So, generally speaking, there should be a great deal of media regulation in Nigeria. But what I'll suggest is the way we are doing it is not the right way. In a country where you have a media regulation that directly has a direct line to the government, it's not going to give you fair media. What we should do is have like a consultative forum where there's a chair anyway, but this consultative forum should have people from different interest groups in society, and they should be the one to review every decision and met out every action by the media regulators. With that, you have a lot of fairness. If you had seen, there's been a lot of articles written over the weekend as regards what happened to Arise on the final warning letter. Because I make bold to say, this is the same country we were in, that a state broadcaster broadcasted a coup on television. An election had not been completed. The acceptance speech of somebody was read. You wonder, didn't they have an editorial department? And it was broadcast on TV and we didn't see any big fines come down. The other TV station that was mentioned, I'm sure you know what happened. In fact, in the NBC letter, they said that in a 20 news bulletin or 30 news bulletin, about over 15 or 16 of them was for a certain political party. The opposition had no voice at all. Furthermore, in all of this rigmarole as regards the electoral process, the EU reports adjudge Arise to be the most fair and the most balanced out of all the media houses when you see the catchment as regards the disposition on who were given, which kind of view were given sides. And it's in the EU report. Go check me. Don't take my word for it. Go to the EU report. But most importantly, we've also had many faux pas. And I'll go back to the case of NSAS. I remember I did ask a very pertinent question. 3 TV stations were fined by the regulators under Mr. Armstrong Idacha back then. And I did ask, what did the NBC use to authenticate the videos that they say were not true, that were fake videos? Till today, there's no technology as regards that they came out in their position for. But most of those videos were verified by various verification tools out there because it was online, it was digital. I think what we should do is we should make a National Broadcasting Commission more independent of the government. Because you see, if you still have it in such a way that it's couched that the minister can just make a ring and says, oh, look at them, you will have cases of not being fair. Furthermore, they talked about the election campaign today. They talked about the case of Dino Melai and all of that. I remember, and they said we put it back on watch. I remember how we berated Dino Melai here on What's Trending and said what he did was. But you see, the funny, they don't see it. But a presidential candidate of a certain political party said all sorts of words like, oh, labor in vain, this one, just lie statistics and all of that. And it was shown on TV and we didn't see. A vice presidential candidate of a political party at some point called the sitting vice president ice cream seller in this country. We didn't see all of that. All we just want for is a great deal of fairness. But in this iteration of what the NBC is, you can't have that level except we have a consultative body that reviews every media decision in the country.
Right.
That's just it.
All
but
right.
as regards the feedbacks we'll take our feedbacks and introspect.
All right, Dr. Abati, Atiku has alleged that, the Tinubu administration is about to gag the media. I mean, owing to also this fine, but also Kenneth Okonkwo made a concrete statement in that his lengthy post on Instagram, saying that, what he did on air was normal and it was, a way of gagging him if they were to sanction him with that letter.
Okay, just a number of things. The first is this. Kenneth Okonkwo knows very well that, if he feels that his fundamental human rights have been infringed upon, he knows how to seek relief.
Yes.
He can sue the Nigerian Broadcasting Corporation. The NBC is not above the law. No institution is above the law. And accordingly, he has quoted sections 38, 39, and 22 of the 1999 Constitution, saying that his rights have been infringed upon. There is something fundamental, enforcement of fundamental human rights, under our laws. So if he feels that he's been maligned, he should go to court. He should sue the NBC. However, the second point to be made here is that there are no rights under the 1999 Constitution or any known constitution that is absolute. And which is why, there are qualified rights. That is why your right to the freedom of expression does not extend to giving you the right to defame other people, either through libel or through slander, the two categories of defamation. The third point also is that those who are saying that the NBC, as a regulator in the industry, should not be selective, should not be used as a political tool. They are also very correct.
Right.
The NBC must be seen to be independent, to be neutral, to be fair to all parties concerned. In this particular case, the allegation is that, look, NBC is acting as if it's a political wing of the All Progressives Congress. And that's something that the Director General, Mr. Ilela, should pay attention to. I've seen over the weekend some people saying, look, some other stations that are affiliated to those who are in government, they give their platform to people to spew all kinds of things. Why have they not also been sanctioned?
Issue the letters or sanctions.
However, my own concern is the way the letter itself is phrased. NBC as the regulator, yes, can intervene through the National Broadcasting Code at people, but what is the meaning of final warning? That sounds apocalyptic. And I think that Mr. Ilela, should be careful the kind of titles that he uses. How do you give a media house final warning? That sounds like a threat, an open threat, and it's apocalyptic. And other people can just, latch on to that. And with specific regard to the morning show and Dele Farotime, I think that it's also important that the NBC monitors pay enough attention. Because you will recall that on that day, when Dele Farotime made all those claims, I cautioned him immediately.
Yes.
And I told him, maybe they should at least pay enough attention. I cautioned him to say that, look, you cannot use this platform to make these statements. And he said he was taking ownership of it. He also said certain things about the CJN. And I said, no, the Chief Justice of Nigeria, you can't talk about him like that.
Yeah.
And he said, no, this is not the first time he's saying it, and this will not be the last time. So as a responsible media house, we try to apply that caution. And, that was a way of indemnifying this station.
Absolutely,
so
we do our job right.
I think that the NBC, should just look at all sides of it and not just jump to conclusion in a situation whereby the station itself has taken the remedial action to caution that particular guest on the program. But in any case, this is a very testy moment in the country.
Yes.
And you are likely to find both institutions and individuals, getting ahead of themselves. But what is important is that there is a process. Election is a process. And that process, has gone to the judicial system now. We should allow the courts to do their work.
Yes.
And I keep saying there's too much sensationalism, too much emotion invested in this whole, election enterprise. Can Nigerians just respect the integrity of the courts? Or have we, the common men of Nigeria, have we even lost hope in the last bastion that we often talk about?